Hatem Dhiab from Gerber Kawasaki joins me now. Good to see you, Hatem, for the first time in 2024. Just your thoughts there on Tesla, which the market didn't seem to like.
Yeah, good to see you, Juliet. Happy New Year. I think we can say that still. Tough quarter. I mean, we kind of were worried going into this print that all the price cuts last year would really hurt margins and hurt revenue, and they did. I think the reality is the Tesla was having what the Tesla was priced for perfection, and by cutting prices so many times last year, they just could not hit their targets.
For the first time, as I mentioned, we didn't get an outlook from Tesla. They did warn, though, of that reduced year of growth. What are some of the key challenges, and I guess why we didn't get that outlook?
Frankly, I've been following this company for many years, and was very surprised that there was no target for their production this year. And I was hoping they would do that in the call, but they really didn't. I think as a growth company, if you're not growing, your stock is not going to do well. I think what Tesla is doing is they're investing a lot in their next generation vehicle, which will come in 2025. They're investing a lot in Cybertruck ramping. They're investing in Austin and Berlin for the Model Y. And as a result, they're not really able to increase their production next year. So it's really unfortunate.
Is it a sense too that a lot of other EV companies are catching up, and you look at the likes of BYD, particularly in China, and that is sort of taking away some of the edge that perhaps the cult of Tesla used to have?
BYD is definitely a big competitor in China for Tesla. They don't compete with them in the US, but you're absolutely right. There is a lot of better competitors happening here in the US. For many, many years, Tesla was the leader with the best cars. And in many ways, they still have some of the best cars, but the models are kind of stale. They've been around for a long time. And other competitors are coming with very compelling products. So as a result, I think you're finding some customers really going into BMW and Volkswagen and other producers here, at least in the States. And the rest of the world, absolutely, BYD is cheaper. They make okay cars, and that's really taken probably some business from Tesla.
How much of an impact are we continuing to see of higher interest rates, higher costs of living having on the EV market, where people think, I'm just going to continue with the car that I have, even if it is a gas guzzler, because it's cheaper for me in the long run?
Well, that's true, right? The payment that you pay on the car is really the most important thing. And when rates go up from 3% to 8% or so, that really impacts the payment that people pay. So absolutely. And I think that's why Tesla has been bringing down the prices over the last years, because they're seeing customers not really being able to afford the higher price Tesla EVs. Also, macro, globally, I think in Europe especially, the economy is not doing too well. So I think you're seeing some macro headwinds impacting really customer choices, and really, maybe as you said, I'm going to keep my car for a longer time or not buy a new car.
And in terms of the outlook, I mean, we talked about when they're going to have this fresh update, but what's the latest on the so-called Cybertruck?
I was hoping for better news on the Cybertruck, but the ramp is not going too well. You see a couple. I'm in Los Angeles, and you see a couple around the city, but there is not really that many being delivered. I think the car is just really hard to make, and Tesla, true to their history, they always overpromise and underdeliver. I think they're just having a hard time ramping up the truck.
When we look at EVs in total, I guess because Tesla had such a big brand name to start with, it's sort of akin to the same way that in Britain people call a vacuum cleaner a Hoover and we call tissues Kleenex. Do you think now, though, with the acceleration of other models and other brands, that Elon Musk and co need to do a bit better in terms of branding?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest problem is Elon when he bought Twitter, it really kind of been a really rough on the Tesla brand, because he got into a lot of political debates that probably should not have been into. But ultimately, I think there is a lack of knowledge around how good an EV is, what the range is. People really are not, they still have range anxiety. They think they can't charge the car. So there's a lot of education that can still be done. And unfortunately, Tesla does not do a lot of advertising or education in that sense. Elon, for many years, all he thought is, I'm going to put the best products out there and hopefully customers will buy them. And that's been working out very well. But now I think, as Tesla becomes a much bigger company, they need to spend more money and effort in marketing and advertising to really educate the consumer about how EVs work, the charge network that they have, and hopefully that will help increase the pie in general.
And how much of an impact is AI having, particularly in the development and adoption and acceleration here?
Well, massive, right? Because especially the full self-driving software or what Tesla calls full self-driving, still level 3 autonomy right now. I think that's a big one, and Tesla has a very, very large lead in front of others, but it hasn't really been moving as much over the last couple months or few months. So they promised to have FSD 12, which is the next version. Is starting to roll in and out. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how good that is. But ultimately, I think Tesla has a massive edge, and they will continue to do so in the future.
Hatem, do you have any thoughts on any of the other big companies we've heard from? I mean, Netflix blowing it out of the water, really seeming that crackdown on password sharing has helped.
It's such a good example, right? Like if you want to be a tech growth company, you have to find new ways to grow. Unfortunately, Tesla did not give us that, but Netflix has. Netflix said, "Hey, there is 100 million people that are not paying for our service, and now we're going to get out there and get them to pay," and they've done really, really well. So the reality is, if you show some growth, if you show the ability to find new customers and get new revenue, I think 2024 will be a good year. Unfortunately, we didn't see that from Tesla today.